Okay, Mike Myers, you're on the skillet for this one. Oh, and Mom, if you're watching this review right now, I would like to thank you for not letting me watch this movie at the time this came out. Had I watched this as a young kid, my brain would have melted, my IQ levels would drop at an immense height, and I wouldn't know what the meaning of life is anymore. I will get to that in more detail later on in this review, but for now, let's lay some traps on this cat, shall we? Yo, what is up, my Cinedroids? G to the S here. Today, I'm going to be reviewing Mike Myers' version of the classic Dr. Seuss novel of the same name, The Cat in the Hat. Watch them so you don't have to, right? Anywho, it stars both Conrad and Sally Walden, played by both Dakota Fanning from My Neighbor Totoro, and Spencer Breslin from the Santa Claus movies, who are home alone with their pet fish. And no, I'm not talking about the movie called Home Alone. In fact, you can check out that review if you want. But anyways, it's raining outside, and there is nothing to do. Just like in the book, am I right? Ha! Bite your tongue on that, my good sir, or madam, depending on the gender, until the Cat in the Hat himself, played by the famous DreamWorks ogre, as I mentioned earlier, walks in the front door. He introduces them to their imagination. And at first, it's all fun and games, until things get out of hand. No shocker there. And the cat must go, go, go before their mother arrives. But their pompous neighbor, played by Alec Baldwin of all people, has bigger plans for them. Gee, I wonder what he has up his sleeve. No matter, this movie is a train wreck either way. I mean, it's not as terrible as his other work that came out almost a half a decade later, The Love Guru. You can check out that review as well. But this movie sure is up there as one of the worst Mike Myers comedies ever made. Seriously, dude, when will you ever learn your lesson? Let's start off this review with talking about their use of CGI in this movie. Jeez Louise, they look terrible. From the pet fish to the cat's crab lock that secures a box that unleashes the mother of all messes or something along those lines. I don't care, the evidence has been made clear that they did not follow the book at all. Now, if a few of you weirdos out there who like this movie disagree with me on that part of the movie, you obviously have never read the book, or even worse, never heard about the book before. I mean, come on, it says so at the beginning credits of this movie, clearly, just in case if you guys need a reminder for some odd reason. But in terms of how they adapted the source material to the big screen, it is very clear that they didn't follow the book beat for beat. The story of this movie felt like it was on autopilot for me. They have lots of these references, raunchy humor that doesn't fit in a PG-rated family film, let alone a Dr. Seuss story, which I will discuss in a moment, and very forgettable characters. Let's start with how they treated the story for this movie. I know they want to pay homage to Dr. Seuss's work, but if you want to do that, at least follow the story for what it is. In fact, I know that there was a cartoon before this that came out in the early 70s, where the late comedian Alan Sherman provided the voice for the character. And I heard some people say that the 1971 Dr. Seuss cartoon, and maybe even the PBS Kids series to a certain extent, was leagues better than this piece of cat hairball. All this movie resorts to is, and since we're getting into the discussion about this movie's use of comedy in this movie, like I said, it has all these dated references that not only kids will not get, but us adults can't understand them either. Even the double entendres in this movie don't mesh well in the Dr. Seuss universe as a whole, not just this movie. And the problem with them is, and this is the same complaint that I made with my review of The Love Guru, Mike's jokes linger on them for way too long. And I was just sitting there face palming thinking to myself, oy vey, get to the punchline already. The joke's done at this point. Poorly executed on so many levels. Even the characters were not developed well. Not only are they poorly developed, but they were poorly written in terms of the movie's use of dialogue in the script. Poorly acted in terms of direction coaching from director Bo Welch, whom I've heard is more of a famous set designer than an A-list film director, and are highly forgotten by the time the movie is over. Man, if Dr. Seuss was still alive, he would just rejected the project and said, no, I do not approve of this. Mike Myers, go back to doing Shrek. You're better off as that character. And as for the writers and filmmakers of this movie, if I had a fun-o-meter or whatever the heck you guys call it, I'll just let the machine say that you guys cannot write for who knows what. Get them out of here and hire real writers who have a real passion for film and make an actual adaptation of my source material. I know a lot of people will blame the studios for their poor excuse to get this greenlit, but I'm sorry, I blame the writers and producers for this. Now, the only minor saving grace I will give this movie is their use of set design, the practical effects, and the camera work. That's it. I liked how colorful it looked in this movie. But still, overall guys, in the end, it still doesn't change the fact that this version of the Dr. Seuss book is as terrible as everyone on the internet, as well as people outside of social media, say it is. It has tasteless comedic humor, jumbled and confusing story, poorly written forgettable characters, and the best example of a movie trying to be like the author of a children's book or a young adult novel, and they squander every little effort into making an actual adaptation of the source material. In short, in the words of the critics' consensus from Rotten Tomatoes, this cat falls flat. And as a result, I rate The Cat in the Hat starring Mike Myers a half a star out of 5. Please skip this one. It's not worth your precious time and your hard-earned money. Go watch the cartoons of this story instead. So, Mike Myers as the Cat in the Hat. You've seen it, right? Well, let me know in the comments what Dr. Seuss adaptation is your least favorite of your choice. I would love to hear your answers down below this review. Go wild. But if you like this video and you want to see some more, make sure that like button shines in your face. That'll totally help me out a ton. Also, share it with your family and friends and favorite it. That's a very good way to show support for this review. Also, if you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe and ring that bell right next to you so you can be notified of future videos that I have in store for you. Also, if you want a shout out in a future video, just follow me on both Instagram and Twitter and I will choose one of my Cinedroids to be displayed as a shout out. The link's in the description below. And also, I have a TikTok account for you guys where I do whistle covers as well as singing duets with my sister every once in a blue moon as well. So if you guys are interested, the link's also down below in this review. Also, if you want to subscribe to my gaming channel, there's either a link in the description or at the icon card at the top right corner of your screen. Go over there, subscribe, and let's have fun together. But until then, I'll see you next time. Peace out.